So, what is going on with the stock market lately? All these wild swings. Is it just about economics and trading bots, or could there be something bigger, something cosmic at play? We're going to dive right into that today as we break down a fascinating astrological take on all this market volatility. And let's be honest, you've probably felt it. That's really the core emotion our source material starts with. Doesn't matter if you're a pro trader or just have a retirement account, there's this feeling of uncertainty, even fear, about what's coming next. Now, here's a wild thought. What if this isn't just random chaos? This question totally shifts our perspective, right? We're moving from Wall Street to, well, the heavens. We're about to explore a prediction that says this is all part of a predictable cosmic cycle. Okay, so let's get right to it. What's the central claim? What exactly did the source predict? And just how bad could things get? Wow, okay, comparing anything to 2008, that is a heavy statement. The astrologer in our source material says they saw this coming, that the conditions were lining up for a huge drop that would feel a lot like that massive crisis back in '08. And here's what's so interesting, the specificity. This wasn't some vague prediction like, the market will go down. Nope, the forecast was for a correction of around 28%. That's a really bold and precise number to put out there. And this is where we as humans enter the equation. The argument is that this astrological trigger gets amplified by our own behavior. A huge wave of panic selling, the source warns, could take that 28% correction and push it way, way deeper, maybe even to a 40% plunge. So what's actually causing all this from an astrological point of view? Let's take a look at the cosmic events that are supposedly the catalysts. According to the source, this isn't just one single event, it's a whole sequence. You've got these key moments, like a lunar eclipse in mid-March, then a solar eclipse and a major transit of Saturn right at the end of the month. These are big deals in astrology, and they're said to kick off this really intense, unstable period. And look, there's even a predicted end date for all the turbulence, May 14th, 2025. So the main point here is that these aren't just random things happening in the sky. The whole argument is that they all combine to create this sustained pressure on the markets, pushing them toward a big correction and pretty much making crazy volatility the new normal for a while. Okay, so given this pretty intense forecast, what on earth is an investor supposed to do? Well, the source actually lays out some very different strategies depending on how you play the market. So you can see two totally different paths here. For the day traders, the folks moving in and out really fast, the advice is basically pump the brakes. The water is just too choppy and you might be better off just sitting on the sidelines for a bit. But for the long-term investors, it's the complete opposite. The message is to hold steady. Don't let panic make your decisions, and maybe even look at the dip as a chance to buy more of the solid companies you believe in. This quote really just nails the psychological part of the advice, doesn't it? It's such a powerful reminder that a market crash isn't some abstract thing that just happens. It's the sum total of a lot of individual people acting on fear. The source is essentially saying, don't be one of them. All right, now we're going to get personal. This analysis actually goes beyond the market as a whole and suggests that your own success might just be written in your own personal birth chart. So let's quickly break this down. In Vedic astrology, you can think of your birth chart like a pie with 12 different slices, and each slice, or house, rules a different part of your life. Well, the fifth house, that's the slice that's all about speculation, stocks, and taking risks. You could almost call it your personal Wall Street, right there in your horoscope. Now, this is a pretty wild idea. The source is basically saying that some people are just born with a stronger astrological setup, a yog, for success when it comes to speculation. And if your fifth house isn't very strong, well, the suggestion is that you might be fighting an uphill battle in the markets, no matter how great your financial research is. So, after all is said and done, what's the ultimate message here? What is this whole turbulent period really testing? You know, when you look at these points, it's clear this advice goes way beyond astrology. This is just timeless, solid investing wisdom. The source is really hammering home that to get through this, you've got to swap panic for patience, swap greed for a real strategy, and start thinking of your own calmness as a form of capital. It's that valuable. And really, that's the bottom line. This whole period isn't about who has the fanciest trading software or the best hot tips. It's a test of character. Can you stay calm while everyone else is losing their minds? Can you stick to your long-term plan when your gut is screaming at you to do something impulsive? That, according to this perspective, is the real game. And so the source kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. It suggests that maybe these two things aren't at odds with each other. Maybe the numbers we see flashing on our screens are just a reflection of a much bigger, much older dance happening up there in the stars. Pretty cool idea, right? What you make of it is totally up to you.